Thomas Cox here. I have a quick bit for you on trust, the concept of trust, and how do you build more of it? Everyone says we need more trust in the world. You need more trust at work. You got to make sure your people trust you. Uh, and so, where's the guidance on how to get more of it? What do you do? So let me talk about that. So here is a Venn diagram of the three pillars that make up what we call trust in leadership, or I think it's just trust in another person. And this is from the work of C. Sean Burke, as popularized in the excellent book by John Blakey called The Trusted Executive. And it simply goes like this. Think about somebody you maybe don't trust as much as you'd like. Uh, could be an in-law, neighbor, coworker, whoever. Just, you'd like to trust them more than you do. Um, and then you ask yourself, okay, is it that they're not showing me the consistency and dependability I want? Is that the thing that really jumps out at me? In which case, what you're wanting is more integrity from them. You want their words and their actions to be one. What they say is what they do. What they do is what they say. Or maybe it's competence. You'd like them to be able to deliver results more, show more expertise. This is very domain specific, of course. Or maybe the third possibility is maybe what you really want is for them to demonstrate more benevolence. Maybe you don't know what their agenda is or what's happening inside them. They're sort of a closed book. You don't know what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what they're, how do they make money? Um, there's something. I actually had a client tell me that. I was like, Tom, how do you make money? Because we hadn't ever gotten around to me charging him for anything yet. It was still early days. And he actually got really uncomfortable because he didn't know how in the not knowing, it wasn't that any one answer would have been bad. It's just the empty space where the answer belonged just made him uncomfortable. I'd never had that before. So I said, oh, that's a great question. I charged like this, and then we were fine. So what you can do today to improve your trusting relationships with others is either two things. Let's just pick one. Uh, Option one is you find someone in your life that you kind of wish they'd up their game a little bit, and you play this exercise with yourself and walk through it and see, I think what I really want is more reliability. Maybe that's the thing. Okay, great, write that down. And then, so what's an example of that? When you show up late at meetings, when you say you'll have something to me by 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock comes around and there's no sign of it and you haven't told me, be specific as to what it would look like if you got more of the thing you're going to ask them for more of. And then you can say with integrity yourself, it says, hey, I want to build good trusting relationships, and I realize that there's something that's been bugging me just a little bit about how you and I have been working together. Would you be open to me telling you about that? And they might say no, and then you let it go. And they might say yes. Be gentle. And you tell them, I was just noticing that sometimes this happens. You describe the specific, and it kind of bugs me, I guess. Um, and I'm hoping that you would be willing to change that. Would you be willing to do that differently in the future? And if you don't feel you can make the ask, okay, maybe you don't. Maybe you just bring it up in a gentle way. That's a different video on how to initiate hard conversations. But that's just one approach. The other thing is easier to initiate. It might take more courage for you, but it'll yield big dividends. Is you take the same model and you show it to another person who you need to have a really good relationship with, especially a subordinate or a boss or a coworker or a spouse, and say, I'm always trying to improve. I just found this great diagram here, and I'm wondering if I were to change my behavior in one way, just do one thing differently that would help you feel a greater sense of trust and confidence in me, what might I do? Is there anything on here that jumps out at you that you'd be willing to say, hey, yeah, Thomas, boy, it should be great if you would, you know, show up like 5 minutes early for every meeting instead of 5 minutes late, whatever it is. Uh, and if they're not comfortable telling you anything, say, hey, super, if something comes to mind in the future, let me know. Just bear in mind, I'm always trying to improve, and I value our relationship, and I want you to feel like you can trust me. And if there's anything I can do differently or do more of or do less of for you to feel a greater sense of trust and confidence in me, I'd love to know what that is. So something pops in your mind in the future, I hope you'll tell me. And that's a very sincere thing you can ask. Hopefully you can say it in a way that makes them feel safe and comfortable answering you. And maybe they'll go away and come back. Uh, and often you'll get a very specific request and it might surprise you. Don't get defensive. All right, let them ask the thing that they want to ask, and then you have now set an expectation by asking that you will change. All right, so don't harvest like 20 suggestions from 20 people. Go with one to start with and try this out. And I'd love to know how it works for you. Let me know. Thomas Cox here. Take care.